My name is Bridge. So there's an old song called Like a Bridge Over Troubled Waters. Or you may have heard the saying, don't burn your bridges. Bridge. I'm making this video not because I'm a content creator, but my intention in this video is to let you know that you're not alone. To bring those who have awakened, like myself, together. It's not a question of if you're out there or not, but the question is where. And I'm making this video because I don't know what else to do in order for us to find each other. When I say awakened, I'm speaking of the dream or this spell that has been cast upon us. Us meaning our family in particular. If you look at my face, listen to my voice, you will realize that we are related, that you already know my face and you already know my voice, and the same will be with you if we meet, when we meet. It's been 8 years for me, and that I've been awakened from this spell that's been cast upon us called the American dream. And then when you look at a movie and you want to know who's in the movie, you have to look at the cast members. They're all cast members in this spell that is called the American dream. Again, it's been 8 years for me, and I was awakened by a child, my niece and my nephews, who gave me the truth. They were only 6 years old at the time, or she was only 6 years old. My nephew was 7, and my smaller nephew was 3. And it was them who told me that they're not these people, or these things are not what they appear to be. And this video, I don't want to, like I said, I'm not a content creator, so I'm not trying to teach, but there are a few things I want to touch bases on in order for you to know that I'm not one of them. When I say one of them, when you have awakened, you will realize that I don't even know what to call them, but they're not us, they're not you. You see that there's some type of hybrid of a creature who are able to appear as us. But you know now, if you've reached the point of awakening, all the pieces don't come at once, all the knowledge and information doesn't come at once, but you know that much off the top, that you've been lied to, we've been lied to the whole time. Even your own family has lied to you the whole time. And you realize that these things, whatever they are, these creatures, I call them creeplings, because the way that they creep about and lurk about is just the name that I've given them. But you realize that all eyes are on you. You realize that all the talk is about you, and it's meant to provoke you. once again, like I said, all the pieces don't come at once. It's been 8 years for me, and there are some things that took a long time, or what I would say was a long time to come together. It's like when I say the pieces, I mean pieces of a puzzle. Because if you've ever done a puzzle, if you've ever done a jigsaw puzzle at the beginning, it takes a long time to figure out where pieces go, because you're starting with that very first piece and you have, let's say, 200 pieces. So at the beginning it's very slow. You're putting pieces, and then in the middle it gets faster, and then let's say 75% of the way you're just putting pieces, putting everything together very fast because you can see more. And that's how it went for me. So like I said, at the beginning, all I knew was I could see that these things are not me, and it seemed like they all moved to a certain rhythm, like they had a playbook or a manual, that I didn't have. And it's true that they do, because these are not thinking things. They operate. There's a difference between a thinking person like me and you, or being like me and you, and something that operates. But they operate at a very high, or you can call it low level, because something can be so low that it's high. And their power of keeping this spell upon us depended very much on secrecy. And if you've awakened, that secret is out now. Also, you may wonder, who are you? Who are we? You are a child of the priesthood of Amun-Ra, a direct ascendant of the 18th dynasty, whom they all know as the Great Liberators. We were the first and the only that I know of to war against the beast. Every movie you've ever seen about demon slayers and things of that nature are fabrications of the family that you are born of throughout history. You do have a story. I don't want to go too deep off into that because, like I said, this is not about creating content. If you've ever seen the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith, the zombie movie, there's a part where he makes a broadcast to try to find who's out there who has survived, so to speak. But that's what this is. This is not about teaching. This is not about creating content. This is exactly, if you ever seen that movie I Am Legend, that is what this is, to let you know you're not out there alone. I know I'm not out here alone, but I'm trying to bring that into a reality. We're not supposed to be doing this by ourselves, but they strategically set it up for us to go at this. You're not alone. You have your ancestors, but physically, we're supposed to be together. And that's what this is. This will probably be my longest video, because just to lay the foundation so you can know that I'm not one of them. Like I said, it's been 8 years for me, and I've been doing this. Nobody has came forward. You may go through a phase where, I know I went through a phase where I was just trying to, trying to pull the truth out of somebody. Badgering them with trying to pull the truth out of them, and they will never give you the truth. They'll always act like they don't know what you're talking about. They'll always pretend that it's all in your mind. These are witches and warlocks. This is a spiritual battle. This is a form of witchcraft that they have been using on us. That, like I said, the main power of it was secrecy. Once the secret is open, all the pieces come together. And you may have been trying to just get a moment to yourself. You'll never get that, because that is your strongest point. And like I said, I went through a phase where I tried to just badger the truth out of them. You'll never get that. I've already made that, I don't want to say mistake, but I had to learn through trial and error, because I didn't have anyone. And I'm pretty sure you don't either. But they'll never tell you the truth. And they never will want you to get a moment to yourself to think and go within, and because you already have all the answers. Also, you go through something where it's not really a headache, but they're able to cause like a tension in your head, which I'm going through right now as I'm doing this video. And I couldn't do this video years ago because I had not developed the strength of concentration to be able to work through what it is that we go through. But you notice that they keep their eyes on you. And also what they do is they keep evil around you at all four corners. And what this tension in your head is, like I said, it's not actually a headache, but it's a tension that can provoke you to anger if you don't know what it is and what to do. And I'm sorry to say that doesn't go away. It's been there. It's been 8 years for me. That's something. What happened is that you have a sensory, a spirit. It's a spiritual sensory within you that lets you know what around you has evil intentions. And the problem is that, like, let's say, for example, it was never supposed to be this many of them. Let's say if you were to walk into a room of 40 people, let's say 3 to 5 of them are demons hiding in the mist, appearing to be as what they're really not. And you can feel, your sensory will let you know, like, you cannot be fooled. You wouldn't be fooled by smiles and laughter and the things that they do, the lowly things that they do to disguise themselves. You would feel it, just like you feel now. The problem is they're overwhelming that system because it is such an unnatural environment that you're in, that they can use it against you or against us if we don't know. But that's what it is. It's not actually that they're able to inflict pain upon you. It's that you have a sensory system to let you know who they are, regardless of the shenanigans. And the problem is that, like I said, there's so many of them that it will they try to overwhelm the system and cause you to react. And trust me, you don't want to do that. I've had to learn the hard way. They do have a jail cell for you. I know this from firsthand experience. The first thing I want to tell you is that justice is not impartial. Cracking somebody over the head, or even killing one of them. You will also learn that what they have is even worse than death. But I don't want to go into that. Like I said, this is not about teaching, but that's something we can speak about if you don't know already. But as I was saying, they try to overwhelm the system because there's and cause you to react. And they do have a jail cell for you. Like I said, cracking somebody over the head is not justice after all that has been done. There's some people, people in my family. You carry. One thing I like to talk about is what you have is an inheritance. My grandfather. The only time I ever seen my grandfather cry is when he thought that he had no inheritance for us, for his grandchildren. He did not know that the inheritance is the flame, the light that we carry, that they do not have. That is the inheritance that they want to rob you of. And they had planned to rob you of it. They have killed some of my family men. When I say killed, I just mean not spiritually, or not in an outright way, but their plan was to have you sick, dying before your time, or even caught up in a situation where you could pass in physical engagement of battle and things of that nature, or in prison for the rest of your life. Dying from diseases that are only meant for them and things of that nature. So that was the plan. But if you have waken up now that you can see them, the plan is to provoke you to a point of anger where you either kill one of them. Make no mistake about it that it can happen to you. You can be hurt as well, but you will always be, righteousness will always prevail. However, there is a consequence. So what I'm telling you is that now that you know, you have enough sense not to lay with one of them. And when I say lay with one of them, I mean you got enough sense to know you don't have sex with this thing, even though you've done it. Now that you know, a gate has opened where accountability takes place, and you have to be held accountable for what you know. So, you know that much about it, and you're at the point where you're standoffish. So, and like I said, you're probably trying to get a moment to yourself that they're never going to allow you to get. So, I said all that to say that, once again, like I said, that tension that you go through in your head, I'm going through the same thing right now as I'm speaking to you. So if I seem like I actually had to write some things down to make sure that I go over, that I don't want to miss because of that. But as I said, it's to the point at this point in time, if you've awakened, is to provoke you to the point of violence, period. To provoke you to the point of violence, to irritate you, to irate you, to make you irate. And trust me, I know from experience, it's not worth it. It's not the answer. And what will happen is you'll be sitting in a prison, and then you will realize that the one that did provoke you or succeeded in provoking you, you realize that it was never even about winning the battle per se. You realize when you go over it that the person knew they wouldn't win. It was all about landing you where you're at in a prison. That's what you will realize, or harnessing the energy of you possibly even murdering one of them, because that's the goal. That's the goal at this point, because the rest of it depended on secrecy. Bear with me. one thing that you will notice, or it took me a while to notice that. See, I'm trying to give you the things. If you're just now in the beginning stage, because I don't know if we all woke up at the same time or in different stages. I'm not sure of that. So, like I said, it took 8 years for me for everything to come together. For all the pieces of it, and there's a few pieces that are still missing. Like, for example, I still wonder from time to time, why are they still here? What is the holdup? What is the purpose of them keep being able to see another day? But 95% of the puzzle, I believe, has already been. But it took, like I said, it took 8 years. So what it took me some years to see is that if you look around you, look at their faces, look at their faces, hear their voices. You will see the faces of your brothers, your sisters, your mother, your father, your grandfather, your aunties. You will see that these niggas are related to you. They have trained us to believe that seeing somebody who resembles you and your family don't mean anything. That's a lie. These people around you are related to you. Family is much bigger than the ones in your household. Family is much bigger than the slave name. For example, I'll make a modern day. They moved us all around, separated us all around throughout the time of slavery. And one thing you need to know is that we have never been slaves. When I say we, I'm not talking about everybody as black people. I'm talking about you and the family that you come from. The household that you, and the household is bigger than just your house. Like me and you are actually from the same house, carrying the same flame. Now, what I was saying is that throughout slavery, they moved, separated us all about. Now, to put that in a modern day history and apply it to yourself, let's say that hypothetically, you have 2 foster children because let's say something happened where, like I said, this is hypothetical. Let's say something happened where I end up going to prison. But I have 2 nobody takes in my children, they end up being foster children. Now let's say that one of my children end up in one foster home in Chicago. Another child ends up in a foster home in Los Angeles. And by the way, I am from Los Angeles, South Central LA. That's where I'm at right now. I didn't mention that. Those 2 children, let's say that the foster home that the one in Chicago goes to, let's say that the people's name is Johnson, and the people in Los Angeles, their name is Wilson. So they applied that name to my child in Chicago. His name is Johnson. This name is Wilson. Now, I cannot, let's say that they grow up, become adults. They don't know each other. All they know is what they've been taught. Are they not still family? Yes, they are. They're still very close. And those children that are made by them, and grandchildren and great-grandchildren, they're still first cousins and brothers and sisters. They don't, no matter how distant they've been separated, that bloodline is still relevant, regardless of if they know it or not. So that was just to put it in a modern day time. And that's, like I said, they've trained us to believe that seeing somebody that looks just like you doesn't mean anything, or your family. And the way that it was brought to me to look at it as, when you look at them, And even though we're people who celebrate Thanksgiving, even we don't really know what it is, we're people about family, so we tend to like Thanksgiving. We're thankful for our families, even though we don't know that the majority of them have went their own way and been traitors. But the way that you look at them is you ask yourself, does this person belong at my Thanksgiving table? And who would they be sitting right next to? Like I said, I would look at it. Became to the point where I would look at people and say, this woman looked just like my mother. This woman looked just like my sister. This man looks just like my granddaddy. This man looks just like my brother. Twins, as a matter of fact. And that's who they would be sitting right next to at my Thanksgiving table. It don't mean nothing to them, but trust and believe they will be held accountable when that last grain of salt hit the hourglass, and they know it. It's just that you are not supposed to know it. So that's one thing that you may see, start to see, if you not may start to see, you will start to see, because I'm telling you, if you haven't seen it already. Because like I said, I don't know if we're all at the same stage or different stages in our awakening. And as I spoke on slavery, like I said, we have never been slaves. We are prisoners of war. There's a difference. Slavery is spiritual, and the spiritual slavery is applied to the trader. I believe that I've covered. Like another thing I want to speak on is that you notice the reason why I'm saying these things to let you know that this is not a game. I'm not one of them. They will never truly look you in the eye. If you've awakened, you've noticed that by now. That's one of the first things that you notice, is that they always look away. They always find a way to, and it's always a trick or a scheme about pretending that they can look you in the eye. But you know that they have a problem with looking you in the eye, because they can't do it, because they're void of spirit. They don't carry the flame that you carry, that we carry. So it's always a trick or a scheme or a rhythm about the way they do go about doing things. But you notice that they never will truly look you in the eye. They'll never give you the full truth. And what I've learned about this, and another thing that you need to know is it's best for you to try your best to keep your attention to yourself. They need your attention. They want your attention. They're always casting these are witches and warlocks. They're always casting a spell of lust upon you to keep you in your lower self. We are not a people of lust and sex. That is a demonic way of living. And if you listen to what I'm saying, it will resonate with your spirit. We are a people who, if you will be married, our traditional, you will be married, and you will have been with your wife for 50 years and only have had sex as many times if you have had children. We are not a lustful, sexy people, demonic. You have been with your wife for 50 years and only have laid together twice because you only have 2 children. Or maybe have never done it at all if you don't have children. That is not our way. That is the way demons live, going into each other. And you know that you've never heard that. And you know that it resonates with your spirit, because it resonated with mine when I heard it. And it ain't hard to go without when you know that is the original way. So what I'm saying is that they always are projecting this spirit of this spell and spirit of lust. Every corner you turn, every turn you make, they want what you take into your eyes and into your ears is the same as eating through your mouth. It goes down and it affects the body, it goes down into the spirit. And they want to be able to control. To have power and to control are two different things. They are conning, deceptive creatures. So they're always projecting a spirit of lust at you and speaking words down into your ears. They say that words will never hurt you. That is not true. Those words can affect your spirit. So it is best to try your best to keep your attention to yourself and go within. You don't need to ask none of them nothing. It's been 8 years. None of them have come forward with the truth at all for me. Now, I have found people on YouTube who have helped guide me, who the ancestors have used to help guide me to the point where I am now. And I truly love those men and women who've done that. But as far as really in my city, somebody physically coming forward, it hasn't happened, and I don't see that it will happen. Now, one more thing I want to mention is that everybody who carries this spirit in them, that spirit in them, they can't. It's not that they're going to be counted out. It's much more complex than that. I don't want to go off into that, but there's a difference between being in agreement with what has happened or what is happening and being overwhelmed. There's a difference. And there are people who are overwhelmed who want to do right, but they're surrounded by so many demons and they are inflicted with this thing themselves that it's very hard and difficult for them. So the difference is a reprobate mind. The reprobate is the one who is in agreement. It is gone, there's no coming back. But the one who is not a reprobate, you will notice that they are inflicted with this, whatever it's called, this thing that is inside of them, but they also still have a part of themselves that fights and is at war with this. There's a war within them. There's no war within the reprobate mind. And that the way that you know the difference is that one who has a fight in them against this spirit, this evil spirit that's in them, you will know they speak truth to the best of their ability. That's how you know. Period. Simple as that. They speak the truth to the best of their ability. And that's how you know. And they just carry themselves different. Even though they're far few in between, from what I've seen, you'll know the difference. Like I said, this is not about teaching, but the reason this will probably be my longest introduction. This is my introduction video. It will most likely be the longest video because without me saying these things, mentioning these things, like, the tension in your head. I know you've talked about it and they act like they don't know what the hell you're talking about. And then they give you this wicked smirk, like, I don't need to go into it. You know that I know, and you know that we're the same. That's one thing that they always act like they don't know. They always act like they don't understand what you're talking about. They always trying to play you like it's in your mind. That's the way a witch and a warlock works. They play tricks on the mind. And again, like I said, you've awakened. If you've awakened from us, they're all cast members. They're all cast members in a spell called the American Dream. that you have waken up from, and now it's time for us to come together. I believe my Gmail is actually on the account. I'm not a content creator. I've never done this before. This is my first time. But my phone number is 747-269-9813. 747-269-9813. Hold on a second. I'm gonna write down my email. Just gonna write down my email real quick so you can have it. And then I'm done, because like I said, this is this is to bring us, if you've ever seen the movie I Am Legend, that's exactly what this is. When he made the broadcast to make sure anyone is out there. I don't know what else to do. I don't have the resources to go from state to state. That, if I had the money, if I had the resources, I would go from place to place. I'll go state to state looking, and I know that I will be led to the right place. But I don't have the resources to do that. So that's why I'm doing this video. I don't have the resources to actually come and do a search like it's in my heart to do. And it's strategically set up that way for us to not have that type of money. And but I do have the resources to know exactly where you are and come to you, or bring you to me. I can do that, but I don't have the resources to, actually send out a search party, so to speak. Here's my email. I don't know if that comes out backwards or not, but like I said, the Gmail should be on the the Gmail should be on the account. This video is not for everybody, and y'all know that. If it's only for, like I said, you know you're not alone. I know I'm not alone. We know we're not the only ones. That doesn't make any sense. They are strategically keeping us separated. So this video is not for, it's not for them, it's for you. So please don't play games. Don't play games. This video is for the ones who have awakened from this terrible, terrible nightmare, this spell that has been cast upon us. This is not for those cast members. So, don't call me. This is for the one that carries the flame. This is for the one who yeah. So I think that's it for this video. I know that this will find you.